So I was gone for 2 months and this tree was healthy. There was nothing wrong with the tree. I also noticed that there's a whole bunch of trees coming down now. I mean the big ones, they're done. They're really done. So I walked over to the tree and I'm like, what took this tree out? So like Jeff Schneider would say, it's the electrical currents. Of course it's the Samvartica fires. Let's look inside of this tree. It's quite horrible. It's been French fried on the inside of the tree. Let me walk over here and you can see where it's just burnt. This entire tree in the inside is burnt. I mean, this was a big tree. And here's the tree, it's wet. It's not even like it's dry, because I noticed that when I went down and started looking at the trees, there was nothing wrong with this tree. The inside is still the inside, but, oh, as I'm falling, the whole tree, electricity, went through the whole tree and just burnt the shit out of it, twisted this tree. And this was one of those really, you can see it down in the creek. It went all the way across the creek. So yeah, Samvartica fires, it's the electricity. It finds the densest thing and it goes up it. It's been French fried. This tree has been French fried from the inside out. Look at this. How very horrible. And of course I'm in Delaware, USA, and this is the shape of our woods. It's all dying. It's quite horrible. So yeah, this was a healthy tree. Was a healthy tree, and look what it has done to it. It's like, it looks like a toothpick that's been splintered. Could you imagine the force it took for this tree to have this scenario? The bark on it is healthy, the tree inside is healthy. This did not die from the usual culprits. This died from energy going up into the tree and literally shredding it. Samvartica fires are everywhere. If we look at the devastation of the woods, I mean, it's getting bad out here. I feel like I'm walking in the woods graveyard. I mean, it's terrible. And I got Faith with me. Say hi. Hi. Yeah, it ripped out of the ground. It's like a toothpick. It's been shredded like a toothpick. So basically, the inside of the tree got French fried. Literally French fried. Killed the tree. And we'll walk down here, and the tree was so enormous. This is one of our bigger trees, that it actually, I'm slipping because it's really slippery here on these leaves, and it's in the creek. The rest of it's in the creek, and they had to cut it up off the path. It's terrible. I mean, it's just something. I'm wondering how many more trees are going to end up taking the brunt of the electricity coming up through the ground, which they are desperately trying to hide. So, just like Jeff Schneider said, or Snyder, maybe it's Snyder, cutting down the big trees because they know what's happening in our realm and why everything is going on. So, quite something. I have to be real careful walking down this. I might have to run. It's pretty slippery and my shoes are the worst. I don't have great tennis shoes on. I'm gonna find my way down. Okay, Faith, and don't kill yourself. So today is Saturday. What's today's date, Faith? What is today? 27th? Today's the 27th? Saturday. It's 2 days after Thanksgiving. I guess it is. What 24, 25, 26? Is today the 26th?
That might be the 26th.
26th. It's so bad. I'll lose track of time. So there's the rest of the tree. I was actually going to do a video where I talk about a lot of things, but since I decided to show this Samvartica fired tree, because that's exactly it. This tree was extremely healthy before it got hit with electricity. And one of the ways you can tell is that all the way around the entire tree, which I'm probably not getting it in, the bark is in pristine shape. It's not been damaged, and it's got a middle. I can count the rings in this tree. And the ones that are seriously damaged, this is all this tree. The ones that are damaged with heavy metals, where they've got like AIDS on trees, they have no metals. But this tree was healthy. This tree did not die from the usual suspect of heavy metals. This thing was Samvartica fired. The electricity rising in the ground, which is happening everywhere. And the tree devastation is terrible. But yeah, I was going to talk about all kinds of things. But you know what? Maybe we'll talk about faith, what we discovered the other day when we were having a conversation with Wendy. We were talking about things that had happened in our realities, and we'll start with Faith's story. Faith had come over to my house, I guess it was a couple months ago, and her boyfriend came over, and they're like, oh my God, and they were freaking out. We need to call the police. Somebody was in our house. Faith, do you want to talk about your story?
Yeah, me and my boyfriend, because my father was gone and I had the whole house to myself. We were in the kitchen and we were cleaning the dishes, and we had just turned everything off, the TV, the speaker, you name it. And I started hearing somebody from coming in the back bedroom. So I went out to make sure everything was off, the TV, and it was, as I said before, it was turned off. So my boyfriend stopped the dishes, came over to me, and he was like, what's that noise? I'm like, I don't know. And then we looked at each other, and then we looked over from the living room into the hallway, because both of us were hearing a man. He sounded older, and he sounded confused and disoriented. Oh, you're pointing it on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he sounded confused and disoriented, and we were both flipping out because nobody should have been in there, at all. So his thought was, do we have anything to protect ourselves? No. Do we know somebody who does? Yes, that's Sonia. She has a gun. So we went out and we went to Sonia's, and he ended up calling 911 because it flipped him out. And when the police came, they searched the whole house. They even brought a dog, and they couldn't find any traces of anyone or anything. Not even a single person had been there but us.
I will tell you this, my motherly thing went into overdrive. She came to my house, I opened the door, they were freaking out. I went to the back bedroom, I grabbed my gun, I took the safety off, and I started marching over there because I was going to take out whoever had dared go into her house, because they weren't going to get a second chance. So basically when they called the police were begging me not to go in there and basically shoot somebody, because I was already in the mindset that if you're going to do this, what else are you going to do? I don't trust anyone. I'm sorry, I don't. I have a gun, I know how to use it, and I don't have a problem using it. That's a big one.
And it flipped us up because not only did they sound disoriented and confused, but it sounded like they were rummaging through things. So we could actually hear somebody going through paperwork and moving things around as if they were looking for something. And it was really freaky.
So anyway, that incident happened. Nobody was over there. I mean, the dog, the whole thing.
Yeah.
What a fiasco. Then Wendy asked me yesterday, she says, Mom, the weirdest thing happened. And then she goes into her thing, and I'm like, okay. She said something about the way Randy used to be. She wanted her old father back and what have you. And she said all of a sudden she started hearing his voice in the background. And I'm like, huh. So I looked into it. I'm like, okay, both of you girls, bleed-throughs. Bleed-throughs. And I realized that I had a bleed-through also several years ago, maybe about 5 years ago. I was standing in the kitchen. I was making some pudding on the stove talking to Wendy. And all of a sudden, I wasn't in my kitchen anymore. In that next moment, I was walking up to this house with big steps, and it was a wooden house, and I was really happy, and I had somebody behind me that I absolutely was in love with, and it was something else. I don't know if it was a different life or if it was my life at a different point, but it wasn't anything that I had already experienced. And I remember going to my own house. It was a house that was mine, that I had no idea was mine. And then in that next moment, I was back in my kitchen, bleed through.
And it was just like when I had gone to Hawaii, me and my boyfriend, we were staying at a hotel. And the whole week when we were staying at that hotel, every night when it would become around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I started hearing people screaming, literally blood, almost like screaming for bloody murder, like something was coming. And it almost sounded like they were running away from the water. Like that's just what it sounded like. And I kept on envisioning a tsunami was coming, and the fear just was just overtaking me. And I would ask my boyfriend, what's going on? Why are people screaming? Why is this happening? And he would look at me and be like, none of that's going on. I don't hear anything you're saying. That's not what's happening. Just look outside. And I would look outside and there would be nothing. It would just be a regular night in Oahu. And when I came back to Sonia, that's when she told me, she was like, you had a bleed through of one of your past lives. And that explains why I'm afraid of waves, because I probably died in a tsunami.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible.
So I started examining, when I started thinking about these bleed throughs, why are they becoming more and more prevalent?
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, with us waking up, this is a sim. And this sim is having to work extra hard because it will give you what you want, what you expect, what you believe. And if so many people are believing and wanting so many things, it's starting to break down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's having a hard time maintaining its coherency in this reality, which is why you're having bleed throughs all the time now. And my question is to my audience, has anybody had any bleed throughs? Has this stuff happened to you guys? And I thought I would definitely talk about this today. I was going to make a different video, but since I am showing this Samvartika fired tree, I might as well talk about this stuff too. Our reality is having a hard time holding its coherency. And so it's pulling from every sector of any part of this now, and it's introducing it into the present. So basically your past, your present, and your future are coming together as one coherent reality. And I thought, oh my gosh, I just like to see what it's going to look like in another year or in another month.
The problem is that with all these bleed throughs and all this is happening, the sim can't hold itself together. It's breaking down. And what that's going to eventually do is it's going to kick all the players out.
And that's it. Why the extermination of humanity? Is it because you're getting rid of people who could take the sim down? So you'll exterminate everyone to keep it running so you can catch and keep the fish that you do have trapped? And you're willing to destroy a part of your fish, I call everybody fish because we're like fish in water, to keep something rather than lose everything. And that's a big one. So we really need to discuss this. If anybody has anything to add to this, please leave comments. I am in the process of now getting to my comments. When I go home, I will absolutely today answer all the comments. That's one of the things I'm going to do on my YouTube channel. So anyway, there we go. Another piece of the puzzle. The sim is breaking down. Why people are being annihilated? Because the sim is breaking down. Because everyone is waking up. It's losing its coherency.
Yes.
So
and the bleed throughs, they can also be not just of your past and your future, but it could be of others people past and future.
yeah, just like that one I had where that had nothing to do with my reality. Nothing at all.
Or like the person that I heard, it turns out it was my father in the future.
Yes, yes. Something had happened to him. He was losing his mind, and who knows what happened to him. And that was actually him bleeding through from the future. So it's not just past. It's past, present, and or future. It's all becoming one coherent reality. It's starting to merge.
And it could be of anyone.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I guess that's all we'll talk about. I mean, I will put a proper video together because I have a list of things I am going to talk about. I might end up doing another Q&A. So, interesting. So, all right then. You have anything to say?
No, just goodbye.
Okay. Everybody have a great day. I'll talk to you on my next video. Bye.
Bye.